I have never really been one to enjoy reality TV. As a kid, I found that the real-life drama and heated confrontations made me super uncomfortable. Most of the time, reality TV just sort of makes me cringe a lot, and from a young age, I just decided to avoid that stuff like the plague. I can't tell you how many times I've walked in on my mom watching the OC Housewives and had to cover my ears and sprint out of the room during the horrendous intro sequences. You know, when they stand in front of the green screen and say embarrassing taglines like, "I may be rich, but I can't afford to waste any of my time," right before they spend the next hour pounding shots of Fireball and screeching at each other like banshees. If I sound overly spiteful, it's because I was once a camera op for the OC Housewives after show. They got absolutely obliterated, kept the overworked crew there for an extra 2 hours, and then Bronwyn flashed her vajouge directly at me. I mean, I was sitting front row in the eye of the storm. Anyways, today we're going to be watching a particularly absurd episode of the over-the-top reality show Bar Rescue, where the human big toe known as Jon Taffer seeks to revamp and rescue failing bars across the country, often by screaming at everything with a pulse. I didn't know this show existed until like a few weeks ago, but apparently people love it because there are 11 whole seasons of Bar Rescue. This spy kid's thumb has been throwing food around and bulging his eyes out of his sockets like a Panic Pete squeeze toy since 2011. So there has to be something good going for this show, right? This episode revolves around Headhunters, a bar in Austin, Texas, run by former engineer Steve Ricci, who opened up a fetish-themed tiki bar and music venue in 2003. Okay, first off, that's too many things, right? That's like, we can agree on that because, you know, a tiki bar already has a lot going on after all. When has anyone ever been in the mood for screamo punk music and a pina colada served by a diaper-clad bartender? It's too much. Over time, the popular bands moved to new venues and the place began to sink. Their earnings decreased, followed by a drastic decline in the bar's hygiene as well as some strange new business ideas.
We decided to come up with a concept called punk and porn. It's punk bands on stage, and in the background, they have black and white porno movies.
Steve, in his infinite wisdom, decides that even with their bar on its last legs, it's time to make the target audience even more narrow. Maybe they should just take it as far as possible, you know, take a poop in my Mai Tai while I watch someone get skinned alive on stage. Mahalo, dude.
Well, guys, there it is.
The building looks completely abandoned. Half the letters are missing from the sign. When I'm looking at Headhunters, I just get this creepy vibe that something inside isn't right about this place.
I would argue that their branding actually checks out then, Nicole, because did you not see the man slathering baby blood all over himself? You tell me what type of sign properly welcomes you to that type of environment.
This band is called Miscarriage, and I get that we're doing edgy rock and roll, but this band is miscarriaging a baby in a bloody mess on the floor. It's repulsive and it's stupid.
John, you're just old, man. Like, yeah, they reenact abortions on stage, okay? Like, if you don't like it, that's why there's black and white porn in the back for you. You should check it out. It's actually Scat Saturday. John asks a bartender why the bar smells like piss, and it's revealed that Steve's cat lives at the bar overnight to save money on rat traps.
When people ask about Headhunters, they're like, oh, that bar that smells real bad? That's us.
Not only that, but the place is like covered in bugs, like a cartoonish amount of bugs, which is insane. John finally meets Steve, the owner, and starts berating him about the bugs, leading to a truly impressive comeback.
There's bugs all over your bar.
There's bugs all over Austin.
Then Taffer dramatically shatters a bottle on the floor, so Steve awkwardly splashes his drink in his own bar, which I don't think was the power move he thought it was. His team does a full inspection of the place, and it's fucking disgusting. There's bugs in all the bottles, there's mold falling from the ceiling into everyone's drinks, which doesn't seem to bother this guy one bit. I swear he started drinking faster when they told him that. It was weird. After fumigating the place, John shows them footage of all the roaches and fecal matter they discovered. Even so, Steve refuses to take any blame.
Now, Steve, you gonna have a drink?
That kid.
So it's okay if your customers consume it, but you won't. You see the point?
Yeah.
For a second, I was so sure that Steve was just gonna pound it like out of spite, which, you know, that would have been a real power move.
Dude, get off of me!
Hey! Let him go!
And what are you gonna do about it? Oh, fuck. I'm gonna go. You win. Fuck. You didn't need to do that. You okay?
After that, John says the funniest sentence ever in the most serious way possible.
I want this place clean, and I want you doing it. I want you immersed in sludge.
Chloe, the bartender, soon explains that the reason they don't focus on cleaning the bar is because they don't even make an hourly wage, which has to be illegal.
We don't get paid anything. We get paid tips, and that's it. So we have to come into work 2 hours early so we can clean the bar and stock it for free. And then we may or may not make $20.
Now, the first time I watched this scene, I almost did a literal spit take because Jon overhears Chloe and Steve arguing and starts to frown under the most dramatic lighting ever, like he's getting horrific war flashbacks.
What do you make an hour?
I make nothing an hour.
What do you make an hour?
Tips only.
I offered them the option of paying. They refused.
You're full of man.
So it doesn't take that much to understand that Steve is an unapologetic piece of shit, right? Well, I thought the whole thing was kind of scripted, but then I checked out the Yelp reviews for this place, and it's mostly just people talking about how bad the place smells and also how much of an asshole Steve was to them, which kind of checks out.
My pay is my love, my compassion, my relationships with lady friends. It's not all about money. It can't be.
I mean, it could be a little bit about money, right? You know, rent money specifically, because, you know, most landlords don't accept payments of love and compassion, except in porn, I've heard from a friend who heard it from me. Jon convinces Steve to put every employee on the payroll so they can make an actual wage. Even then, he immediately starts trying to scare them by telling them their hours and pay rate are gonna decrease to fit the budget. You fucking little roach. Joe and Jesse start training the crew, and it turns out they have absolutely no idea what they're doing. In fact, they've been pretty much winging it since day one.
So what's the first thing you're gonna do?
Tequila.
Attaboy.
That's this, right?
That is the vodka.
Steve opens up to Jon about being in massive debt and desperately needing this bar to succeed. After he promises to give it his all, Jon packs the bar in order to see if they can utilize what they've learned. Do you think they A, royally fuck everything up, B, oh, okay.
Terrible. Not good at all.
They do a terrible job and piss off a ton of customers, especially Looney, who's clearly never bartended his entire time working here.
Where's the damn lime juice?
It's right there.
Oh, all right.
They put me behind the bar. It was sink or swim, and I definitely sank.
It's so obvious there's a guy behind the camera just like feeding Looney a bunch of cheesy quips as if he thought of them off the cuff. I know it's like a normal thing for reality shows to do, but I just fucking hate it. I guess you could say I was up Schitt's Creek without a handle.
Perfect. All right, now can we do one more, but this time say it like you're immersed in sludge?
What?
I just, Jon left a note on here and it just says, have him sound like he's immersed in a sludge.
I'm not even sure what that means. What am I supposed to do?
I know, I understand. It's what Jon wants, so can we just do it?
But it's stupid. Just tell him it's not necessary.
You don't understand. If we don't do what Jon says, then we're the ones getting immersed in a sludge.
Okay. Relax, like it's you're freaking out. It's not that big of a deal.
Hey, Michael, I was in the other room and I thought I heard problems. Are we having any problems, Michael?
No, Mr. Taffer, not at all, not at all. I mean, we were just discussing maybe a minor change to the script, if that's okay with you.
Jeremy,
Yeah, boss.
bring me my bucket of sludge.
Oh, come on.
Over time, they get into a rhythm and finally start serving customers at a decent pace. Steve, however, spends the entire night bumbling around, doing nothing to help during the whole fiasco.
Steve, you blew it tonight big time. You went back to your old habits. And if I were you, I'd be ashamed of myself.
It's hard for me to hate Steve because he looks so much like Willem Dafoe, except instead of playing a goblin, he's actually just a slimy, sleazy little goblin of a man. Joe introduces some unique signature cocktails to the menu as he continues training them around the bar. Jon, meanwhile, focuses all his attention on revamping the dated sound system as well as the overall theming.
You ready to see your new bar?
Yeah.
Holy
This is badass.
That is awesome.
This has the beginnings of a class operation, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So with the help of Jon's team, they transform the place top to bottom and give it a new steampunk theme alongside a new name, Metal and Lace. And regardless of how you feel about it, it's certainly more consistent than what they had before. Like, remember when they called this place a tiki bar? I just realized there's nothing about this bar that suggests it's a tiki bar except for this one fucking light hanging in the back over here. I mean, if that's all it takes, then shit. Check out my big gear. See this? Yeah, this is a steampunk themed apartment now. Oh, what's that? I see you may have noticed my big gear. That's actually, I'm a bit of a steam head nowadays. The official reopening of the bar brings in a swarm of thirsty dorks, and it's all hands on deck trying to serve everyone.
We are slammed. I think we're like
15 drinks behind right now.
Joe, you can move faster than that. Go, girl. Go, 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 go.
Yeah, no, that's actually really helpful. You know, nothing helps me focus more than having this friendly face screeching in my ear as I try to work. Surprisingly, everyone does much better tending bar, but of course, Steve continues to sit around and do absolutely nothing. Jon says his goodbyes and leaves the bar. Now, if you were hoping for a happy ending to this story, then you'll be happy to know that Metal and Lace is now one of the most popular bars in Austin. Okay, that's all for now. See you, bye. All right, now that they're gone, Steve never ended up putting anyone on the payroll. He straight up stopped paying his employees altogether, and then the bar closed down almost immediately.
Jon Taffer, you did it again.
As goofy as this episode was, it is actually kind of sad to see how horribly Steve treated his employees, because they all seemed like fairly good people who were like putting in a good effort to try and save the bar. There's a Where Are They Now episode later in the season where Jon revisits the bar to see like how it went out of business, and it's just so clear that Steve is incapable of ever taking ownership for anything.
The laws work against businesses, taxes go up, bitchy customers, bitchy staff, bitchy musicians. I'd say there's probably 15 reasons.
It's basically just Looney and Chloe talking about being jobless and struggling to find work. They also try to confront Steve about all the money he owes them, but he just brushes most of it off until eventually kicking them out. Now, this is reality TV, so there are many moments in this show that feel really scripted and very poorly acted, especially this recap episode. That being said, after reading all the Yelp reviews, it just seems to further the sentiment that this bar was run by a deplorable person. Some people noted that Steve was being sexually inappropriate towards them, while others claimed that workers were altering checks to get more money from customers. The saddest reviews were from past musicians who were told they would receive a portion of bar sales as payment for their performance, only to get stiffed after the fact, sending them home with not even so much as gas money. This happened on more than one occasion too, which is pretty awful. As much as I hate reality TV, I have to admit that it was a real treat to watch Jon Taffer flail his arms around in exasperation while his eyes dropped out of his face like an aging pug. If you guys think I should check out more shows like this for my channel, then feel free to leave a comment and I'll maybe check them out sometime. Otherwise, I'm gonna go to bed and hope that my new sleep paralysis demon doesn't pay me a visit.
I want you immersed in sludge.